But I do it, and I still do it because I believe that love will win. I still believe things can change. I remember there's this one time I would get so upset about how unfair things are in the world. All my Grandpa Sean would say is, you can't change the whole world, but you can change your world, and that change starts with you.
Just like my dad. Be the change you want to be in the world, son. In fact, my dad and I, we argued about it. You know, that was part of our last conversation. He told me, son, why are you so angry? Why can't you forgive those who wronged you? Why are you so full of hate? That's when you go about quoting Dr. King. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. I just can't see it the way he does. You know, every single time I see that white boy's face, all I see is the devil. That's the face of evil. That is what I see. I mean, how in the world could someone go about living their life teaching that kind of evil? I mean, that young boy was taught evil over the short course of his lifetime. How in the world am I supposed to forgive that? How in the world? I can't, but that's when my dad would be like, aren't you just like him? You've been holding on to all that anger and hatred and fear. Do you want to be like him? Are you just like him? That was part of the last conversation I had with my dad. Maybe ever.
Well, do you?
Do or what?
Do you want to be like him?
I'm not like him. My anger is justified. My anger is justified by the people that he's harmed. It's come from those people who come before me and who will come after me. I can't even drive down certain neighborhoods without being watched by police. I can't even walk in certain grocery stores without being watched by security like I'm the enemy or something. I am a black man living in a country that treats me like a second-class citizen. And people like that boy, they want to make sure that we stay that way. They don't want to lose their privileges. You know what? When I try to talk to my white friends about white privilege, I swear it just drives me crazy sometimes. They automatically get defensive. They try to come at me like, oh, I don't have white privilege. I grew up poor. Or, I don't have white privilege. I struggle. You know what? I just want to shake some sense into them and say, just because you struggle doesn't mean you don't have privilege. It's not a pissing contest of who had the worst. I mean, we all have struggles, but a black person can't go around the world hiding behind white skin. I can't even walk down my own neighborhood without a white person thinking I'm casing the place. So from where I stand, I do have a right to be angry.
You do have every right to be angry. You have every right not to forgive that asshole. But the difference between him and you is you've been taught better than to hold on to that anger. And I'm not saying you can't be angry. I have to ask myself all the time, does my anger have a purpose? Your life has purpose. Maybe your dad was trying to show you that. My Grandpa Sean used to say that anger is like taking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Your grandpa said that?
Well, he read it somewhere, I'm sure. When I was 5, my dad left my mom and me, just disappeared. I didn't see him again until I was almost 17 years old, and when he came back, I was so angry at him. I mean, how dare he come back after all that time and pretend he did nothing wrong? I was pissed. My mom told me I didn't have to see him if I didn't want to, but Grandpa Sean wasn't having it. He made me go see my dad. And the day before I was supposed to go see him, he sat me down and he said, you can be mad, you have every right to be mad at your dad and me, but what if you made a different choice? And I didn't get it. So he said, we've got this saying in the Army, embrace the suck. And it means sometimes you have to do the hard stuff, the stuff you don't want to do. Because otherwise it doesn't get done and you'll get stuck with it day after day. He said my dad was always going to be my dad, and I could either get bitter about that or I could get better. And that is when I realized that anger is just a really good disguise for fear. I've been living my whole life afraid that my dad leaving me was my fault, that I wasn't enough, that I was damaged somehow. And if my Grandpa Sean hadn't made me go see my dad, I would have never figured out that him leaving was about him, not me. And what that kid did in that church, that was about him. That was never about you or your friends. It's about the fear and hatred that he's been raised in. His anger had no purpose. Give your anger a purpose. Use it to carry out your dad's legacy.
So I'm supposed to forgive him? Turn the other cheek, as my father would say. You know what? He killed people I love. He took the lives of 9 good people just because he didn't like the color of their skin. I want him to suffer the same way that he's causing us to suffer. But you know what? He's white. So chances are they won't seek the death penalty for him. He'll sit in jail, rot, and I'm supposed to think that someday he'll figure out what wrong that he's done. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what my dad would think, I'm for sure.
Isn't that justice? I mean, that boy's locked up in his anger and hatred already. Now he's going to be locked up in a cell. Is that where you want to be? Locked up in your anger? You've been taught an alternative. What's stopping you from forgiveness?
You sound like my dad. I swear he must have been a fly on the wall when I last talked to him. Hate is the prison of your own making, he'd say. Forgiveness is the keys that unlocks the cell doors. He just can't see that we're at war right now.
The one thing I know about hate is that it only lasts as long as you feed it. I've been at war, and I went to war out of love for my country, not hatred for the enemy. I've held dying men and women in my arms, and not one of them has died in anger at the enemy, screaming about revenge or punishment. Every single person who's died in my presence has said, tell the person I love that I love them. And it convinces me that we're created from love, and we die wanting to express love, not hate. Hate is a choice we make, and it's a lot of work to keep it alive. You said yourself that boy's taught hatred. What if he's taught another way?
What do you mean he's been taught? He's been taught. He's doing the most damage he could do.
Is he? Because it seems to me the damage he's doing is still happening. You're letting him control you through your anger. You're letting him, in his anger, fear, hatred, and prejudice, destroy your love, kindness, compassion, and forgiveness. You were taught better than him, but you're upholding his legacy, not your father's.